Woody, a tough performance, but your side are through to the third round of the FA Youth Cup. Your initial thoughts on tonight's victory?
Obviously really pleased to get through to the third round. Difficult game for lots of reasons. Really pleased with the first half, a large spells of the first half. I thought we looked like a Swindon team. We moved the ball well for long periods. Frustrated with the goal. A little bit of direct play that we couldn't deal with. But as the second half finished, we dominated. Into the second half, I think fair play to them. That they really dug in. They made things hard for us. They lost another player, and from that moment onwards, it really changed the flow and momentum of the game. And if it wasn't for Lucas at the end with that fantastic save, we would have been heading into extra time. So, all in all, really pleased for the boys to make the third round for the second year running. Tough game for various different reasons. I'm thankful to get through.
You talk about a tough game, but a performance that needed your team to stay resilient until that final whistle. You must be pleased with the hard work they displayed this evening.
Yeah, of course. That's one of our sort of big areas, is making sure we're industrious in everything we do, relentless in how we play. And against teams like that, you have to do that. It might be at times not pretty. We have to compete. And there was long spells and little parts of the game where they got on top of us with them moments, so we have to try and control certain moments of the game with the ball. We did do that, but when certain things and certain decisions change the flow and what the game may look like, we have to adapt to that. I think we did for against 10 men, but when it went to 9, I think that threw us a little bit in terms of they haven't had that before. They haven't played against two less players on the pitch in a competitive game where you're ahead and can you sort of dominate the ball but score a couple more goals to make the game a little bit easier. And I think that sort of that challenge really threw the boys a little bit in terms of what they needed to do to get over the line.
A game very much of two halves, with your side taking the early lead through Bowan. I mean, he's really dangerous when given space and licence to drive at people.
Yeah, really good performance individually from Bo today. Thought he was excellent. I thought he moved the ball really well. I thought he was our main sort of attacking threat, especially in the first half. He got into pockets, was really brave, kept the ball safe, got into positions that were going to hurt the opposition, took his goal really well. Really pleased for him. He's had a transition across to the first team and then back with the under-18s, and it's a big part of his character to make sure that you can do what you do in both environments at our football club. So really pleased for him overall today.
You let Gillingham back into the game, as you mentioned, towards the end of the half, and a second yellow card for them really changed the dynamic at half-time. So what was your message in the dressing room at half-time?
Obviously, playing against 10 men, we just looked at how they were going to set up in terms of the options that they might go for. We knew we had to control the game with the ball, but move it with a purpose. I thought we did that for most of the first part of the second half. And just play with a little bit more intent, a little bit more purpose, create 2v1s in wide areas. And just sort of get on top of them and don't let them out of their half with obviously having the additional player on the pitch. Then obviously the moment with the second yellow card and the second red card and change the game again. But I think overall there's going to be lots of learning for everybody. I think I was quite frustrated in terms of the last sort of 15 minutes in how we played with 2 additional players on the pitch. But I do also understand the different challenges that the boys have had, and they haven't been exposed to that before.
Looking at those challenges, does it sometimes make a game more difficult to manage when your opponents really have nothing to lose at that stage?
Yeah, it can. It can throw the boys a little bit. It can stem the flow a little bit where players where they'll be used to playing against opposition players, they won't be there, or you might have a 3v1 wide instead of a 2v1. But I think it's just all round just understanding the game a little bit more, problem solving, playing with a little bit more purpose, and just put the game out of sight, making it more comfortable, and we just didn't do that in sort of like the last 15-20. Having said that, Lucas's brilliant save and generally in the last 20 minutes has got us over the line, so really pleased to sort of get through to round 3.
I want to talk about Lucas Myers because he's a goalkeeper that will take tremendous confidence from the 2 FA Youth Cup games already. Obviously a fantastic penalty save against Newport in the first round and a stunning save tonight at the depth. That must give him such huge confidence in goal.
Yeah, that's credit to Trav and the goalkeeping union and the hard work they put in day out. It's not a habit that players perform well. They have to work hard on the training pitch. he's not had a lot to do tonight. We've in control of long spells of the game, but there's going to be a moment within the game, and we speak to Lucas about this and the keepers, that there's going to be a moment where you're going to be needed, and he was needed in the 90th minute to keep the team ahead and to get us through to round 3. So it's really big moments for him in the last game against Newport, really big moment today. Hopefully that gives him the confidence going forward into the games that we've got coming up.
George Alston scoring the eventual winner in the game, but the movement and play that made that goal really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, that's what we're about. We try and get into pockets, we try and create 2v1s, we try and get behind their back line, runners and movement off the ball, near post runs, arriving in the box. That goal was epitomised what we're about, so it's pleasing to get that second. Arguably we probably should have had 3 or 4 more if we play a little bit better in the final third in the second half. But brilliant for George again to keep his sort of goal scoring record going as he has been this year.
Obviously, initially we already know our next round draw in round 3, Queen's Park Rangers, as you mentioned, at Loftus Road, so plenty of preparation to do ahead of that trip as well.
Yeah, we do similar prep when the game's announced and when we know when it's booked in. Our attention will now turn to Bournemouth on Saturday, and then the sort of like league and cup games that we got coming up between that. So the boys have to turn up tomorrow. They have to recover, education, and go again on Thursday, Friday, ready for Saturday. So it's a really good programme for them at the moment, with a lot of first team involvement and a lot of fixtures that a lot of our players have been involved in. So it's sort of like Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday at the moment, and making sure they do everything right off the pitch gives them the best chance to compete in these games.
Some names that Swindon Town fans won't be familiar with on your bench this evening. Ronnie Churchley and Ben Head named amongst your substitution. A great moment for 2 young emerging talents, and places for Jack Dorland and Ash Glynn to travel with your side too. It must be great to include young players like that.
Yeah, that's another part of the academy that we're about, is making sure that the pathway's there for our younger players. We wanted some of our younger players within our 15s and 16s to be around the experience of an FA Youth Cup away evening game. They're a couple of years behind that journey yet, but they just need to see what it's like, feel what it's like, and if you look at the game across the 90 minutes, it's had a bit of everything. So in terms of that, their experiences that they would learn tonight, especially with some of the good role models we got in our first and second years within the under-18s, that will hold them in good stead going forward.
I want to talk about it because the support of the academy just seems to be going from level to level, particularly after last year's FA Youth Cup run. Obviously, a fair few fans in attendance tonight that the boys mentioned really kept them going right until the last whistle with their support. But over 800 fans watching exclusively on YouTube this evening as well. But it's really giving the academy a platform to show off your talented group.
Yeah, I hope there's, over sort of like the last year and with the exposure that the academy gets now, I hope that there's a lot of interest in what's coming through. Obviously, when you see names across our academy social media and stuff like that, sometimes you need to see their face. So the Newport game done that, the live stream done that today. The first team manager's involvement of some of our younger players is brilliant, but we have to just keep going day after day, week after week, to make sure that we're pushing as many young players as we can through that are good enough to play. They have to earn it, and making sure that there's some support around that from our academy as well. And when we see fans turn up, I know the lads love it. I know there's a few Swindon fans that live in Gillingham that were here tonight, so that's brilliant. For those that are watching it live, that's also great for the boys to feel that support. So going into the third round at QPR, maybe we can have a few more fans turn up to get behind the boys. I know it's going to be a tough game, obviously, as you go through the rounds. Every game becomes a little bit harder, but that extra support will be really beneficial for our under-18s.